There we go. Now I got my thing going. Alright, y'all. Let me put the ticker and everything up. Well, first, let me do this. Alright, so I was going to go live Monday. I apologize. I didn't go live. Working on getting a new job and got distracted by that. So, we'll be going live today. Possibly tomorrow night. No clue yet. I don't think I'm going to be going live tomorrow night, but it's a possibility that I may go live tomorrow night. I don't know, but I do know Sunday night and maybe Saturday night. I'll probably go live this weekend more than likely. I'll let you guys know. But we got week 3 college football. Not the best week. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the best week, but we all know when we only have I believe 2 ranked matchups this year, this week. I believe it's Arizona, number 20 Arizona versus number 14 Kansas State. And then I believe it's number 24 Boston College going up against number 6 Missouri. Those are only 2 ranked matchups this week. And I believe that those matchups are going to be great. But I believe from what I've noticed from college football in the past years is that when we have weeks like this where there's only 2 ranked matchups, there's a lot of upsets. Do I think there's going to be a lot of upsets this week? No, not at all, because the matchups, they're just not showing me stuff. But there's some games, there's a good 10 games that could be upsets. So let's get into it. Our first game is Arizona State versus Texas State. I know you guys are probably wondering, why is this to lead off the show? Well, it's the Thursday game. So it's 7:30 on ESPN. Both of these teams are both of these teams are 2-0 going into this game. Arizona State is the favorite by 2.5 here. But I got to say this, I've been very, very impressed with Arizona State. Their running back, Cam Scattlebo, is coming off a career-high game against Texas Tech, who I had kind of high expectations. Not high expectations for Texas Tech. I expected them to at least be a bowl-winning team, but from what I've seen these last 2 weeks, these guys ain't going to make 3 wins the way they're playing. But Arizona State has been playing amazingly. And honestly, I feel like this game's going to be, it could be a blowout by Arizona State. But I got to say that I was impressed by Texas State last week going up against UTSA. And they didn't just go up against UTSA. They dominated UTSA by 49-10. 39 points they beat UTSA by. That spread, I believe, was 2 points, 3 points around. It was a single-digit spread. That's insane of what Texas State did. Texas State has Jordan McLeod, who is, if you guys remember from last year, James Madison's amazing run. He was their quarterback. So Texas State has weapons. The player that I think, though, to watch out for Texas State is last year 1,000-yard rusher, Ismail Mahdi. He hasn't had crazy year this year, but I expect him to pick up his production in this game. I believe that. And something to watch out for Arizona is their quarterback that is Sam Levitt. Not his arm. Don't watch his arm. Watch him throw. Or watch him, messed up there. Watch him run. He showed last week that he can run against Mississippi State. He showed it. And I was very impressed by Arizona State. And I feel like Arizona State is going to be a surprising team this year. I think they're going to give Texas State a good game. I think Texas State's going to give them a good game. But I can see this being a blowout by Arizona State. I can see that. I can't see Texas State blowing Arizona State out. If Texas State wins this game, it's going to be a very hard-fought win for Texas State. I think this is a good matchup for Arizona State for their running game. Both of these teams are going to be running. If you like running backs and you like ground and pound games, watch this game because it's going to be like that. Because both of them have deep running back rooms, and both of their quarterbacks, Sam Levitt and Jordan McLeod, can both run. So watch out. And honestly, I would say if I'm a bettor, I'm taking the Arizona State 2.5 point spread. I'm taking that. I think they'll win by more than 2.5 points. If I would take that. So now we go into our next game, which is, I forgot to mention something about the Texas State. Texas State in the running game. This is where I'm saying this is gonna be an interesting matchup because with the Texas State running game or running defense, they've only allowed 133 rushing yards this season. So Cam Scattleboro last game had 262 yards on 33 carries. He has put up more yards in one game than Texas State has allowed this whole season in rushing yards. So I'm interested to see how good Cam does against this Texas State. I think he's going to do amazing. But I just want to see if he can get another 100, maybe 200-yard game. It'd be interesting to see. Now we go to our next game. Why does it keep disappearing? That's not the next game. What? I'm messing up with my hotkeys. Because right now when I press space, it goes to, I don't know. Just bear with me on this one. My thing's bugging out. It's not letting me switch to the right things correctly. It keeps disappearing and stuff like that. So I apologize. But our next game is UNLV versus Kansas. Kansas is a 7-point favorite in this. The over-under is 56.5. I got to say that I've been very disappointed with Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels. From what he's shown, all the potential he's shown all these other years, has been amazing. And then this year, he's got 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 2 games. 27 for 47. Are you kidding me? And only 281 yards for Jalen Daniels, the one that a quarterback that has led Kansas to being a ranked team again. And this year, he has done nothing. They lost to Illinois last week, which they should have won that game. It was a trap game because it was a away game, and it is a Big Ten opponent. You can't ever get wrong with a Big Ten opponent because it's one of the best groups. Not the best. And I saw that argument today on Pat McAfee that Big Ten is the best conference. But if we're going to look by numbers, Pac-12 is because they only have 1 loss or 2 losses, I believe. And they're 3-0 versus the SEC so far. So, but the Pac-12 has only got 2 teams in it now, so we can't talk about them. They're gone in the past. But with UNLV versus Kansas, I expect Kansas to be running the ball like they've been all year. They're going to keep running this. UNLV is going to be passing it. I think you're going to see UNLV's quarterback, Matt Sloka. If you're from Massachusetts, you may know who Matt Sloka is. He was Holy Cross quarterback that led Holy Cross to amazing years to the FCS playoffs, back-to-back years, maybe in 3 years in a row. He is a great quarterback. This year let's see if he can get into his groove against Kansas. He hasn't gotten into a groove yet this season. Yes, UNLV is 2-0, but from what I've seen from Sluka, because I have followed Holy Cross, I've watched FCS, I've watched that conference, and Sluka is a great quarterback. It's just he never got the respect because he went to Holy Cross when he should have got the respect, and I want to see him succeed at UNLV. And I think this is a great game to see Matt Sluka perform. If he can perform against Kansas, that is what UNLV got him for and wanted him for. But his favorite target will be Ricky White III from UNLV. The last couple of years, he has been, or last year, 2 years, I believe, he has been UNLV's best receiver and someone to watch for. He can give you a big explosive plays when you need them. So be on the lookout for Ricky White III for UNLV. And the player to watch for in Kansas, and Jalen Daniels at quarterback, it is Devin Neal at running back. He's the player that I think that is going to be the difference maker in this game. The running back for Kansas is going to be the difference maker. And I think that it's a Kansas running game that's going to be the difference maker. I don't think Jalen Daniels is going to play a big part as everyone, he hasn't all year. But at the end of the day, if Kansas wants to win this, it can't just be all Devin Neal. Jalen Daniels has to step up a little bit. So I'm interested to see if Jalen Daniels can step up and perform better than he has the last couple weeks. But I still think that Devin Neal, the running back for Kansas, is going to be the one that takes the pressure away from Jalen Daniels like he has so far this year. But if they lose to UNLV, all the pressure is going to be on Daniels if he has another performance that he's had these last 2 weeks. That's that game. Next game is Arizona. We got our top 25 matchup. First one we got to talk about today. We have got number 20 Arizona going up against number 14 Kansas State, and both of these teams are coming off of struggling wins. Honestly, Kansas State should be 1-1. Tulane, what's up, Prince? If we're gonna be completely honest, both of these teams should be 1-1. If I'm gonna be completely honest, more Kansas State than Arizona. Arizona played Northern Arizona, and offense, they only won 22-10. 22 points from that high explosive Arizona offense. Only 22 points. And T-Mac only had 21. He had 20 in the 20s. He was in the 20s for yards. That is terrible after what you had the first week. I want to see Arizona. I know they won, but it was against Northern Arizona. This is not Northern Arizona. This Kansas State team is a good test for this Arizona team. It's a good test for both of these teams. But my thing with Kansas State is their passing offense is 100, or their passing. So Kansas rushing offense is 20th in college football, and they're 106th in passing with 173 yards in the air. So Avery Johnson, the quarterback, the sophomore quarterback for Kansas State, needs to show up like he did in the bowl game last year. Show up, show why you've been this highly touted recruit, and the Kansas State's been waiting for you to get into that starting position. I can't wait to see what he does. We all know what Noah Fafita got. We all know who Noah Fafita is and what Noah Fafita got. That's not what I'm looking for in this game. I know what Noah Fafita can do. He is a great dynamic quarterback that is going to have a great college career and probably make it to the pros. And I think that I want to see Avery Johnson. If Kansas State wins this game, it will be probably either or their defense that wins in the game, or Avery Johnson will step up. If Avery Johnson doesn't step up, then it's going to be on that Kansas State Wildcat defense. That's what it's going to depend on. To slow down Noah Fafita, because you can see, and I do think that T-Mac's going to come back and have the game of his life. Another game. Because of what he did last week, and I think he's disappointed in himself of what he performed last week. And I think this week you're going to see T-Mac and Noah Fafita have another game where you're like, this duo is the best in college football. I think you're going to see that. But I just have questions about that Arizona offense, though. Why did you struggle against Northern Arizona? Northern Arizona is not a good FCS team. They're not. I can't lie to you. They do have one star player who's a DB. It's Camden Hightower in Northern Arizona. He was an All-American as a freshman 2 years ago, and he's had injury, I believe, last year. But he's a great player for Northern Arizona, and I could see him maybe making a big jump to the FBS level in the transfer portal this offseason. I can see that happening. But the player to look for Kansas State is DJ Giddens, who's averaged 7 yards per carry this year. He has 238 total yards. He has no rushing touchdowns, though. That's the only thing. Can he get his first rushing touchdown of the year against Arizona? Will Arizona's defensive line hold strong? Because Arizona's offense has allowed 24.5 points. That's insane. 24.5 points when you haven't played no big competition yet. That's just not good. But Arizona has a great pass game. The thing to look for in this game is Arizona's pass game, and Kansas State is run game. So running team and a passing team. Let's see what happens. I think it's going to be a great matchup. The spread is favorite to Kansas State, but I don't like this spread. It's too big. It's a 7.5 spread for Kansas State. That's too big of a spread for this game. I think that the spread should be 3 points. I think this game is going to be a very close game. And I don't think it's going to be decided by 7 points. I think it's going to be a last minute or last second field goal, or a field goal in the last minute, or even a touchdown to take a lead by like 4 or 5 points. But I think that it's going to be a great game, and I'm definitely tuning in to watch this game. And it's Friday. It's not even Saturday. It's on a Friday, you guys. So make sure to tune into that. And now we go to our next game, which is Bama versus Wisconsin. In this game, people have been saying, oh, Wisconsin can pull it off. Wisconsin can do this. Wisconsin can do that. I don't see it happening. Know why? Because the quarterback that's at Wisconsin is named Tyler Van Dyke. Oh, Miami fans, you may know who that is very well. And you guys probably are laughing because you guys know what Tyler Van Dyke is. An average, mediocre quarterback that can't win in big games. Showed it in Miami. And now I expect him to do the same thing in Wisconsin. I think that Bama is embarrassed on what they performed last week against USF, because how did it take to the fourth quarter for you to score 28 points in the fourth quarter to extend that lead and put them away? It should have never taken you to the fourth quarter. Yes, I know last year, Alabama, you struggled against USF, but this year you struggle again. This isn't USF. I think they're going to be, Alabama's coming into this. It's a road game. It's in Wisconsin. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. I think Bama's going to try to get a statement game here. I think this is going to be Bama's statement game of the year, or first statement game of the year, because they have a pretty hard schedule. This game, I think you're going to see Bama, Jalen Milroe, show why all that hype was in him last year for this year being the Heisman hopeful and this and that. I think you're going to see that this game against Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin, they're good. Don't get me wrong. Wisconsin's going to be a winning record team. They go 8-4. I can see them going 8-4. But this is Bama. Bama has too many weapons. They have a freshman, Williams, who's 17 years old. 17. Balling out as a true freshman as a wide receiver. Bama has the offense, and I think that you're going to see it I think they're going to impress and surprise a lot of people when they play against Wisconsin. A lot of people are doubting them, and I don't think that's a good thing to doubt Bama, because we all know what happens when you doubt Bama. I know Nick Saban's not there no more, but I think that Alabama will just dominate Wisconsin, because I don't think Wisconsin quarterback can handle that good of a defense. I don't. I really do not think so, and I think you're going to see that get exposed. If it wasn't Van Dyke at quarterback and maybe someone else, okay, I'll give Wisconsin a shot, but I do not believe in Van Dyke at all. I don't, and no one can tell me not, because what do you do in Miami? Nothing. The games that you were supposed to win in Miami, he lost. Next game we got. What the hell is going on? This damn thing. There you go. Okay. So, we got number. Oh crap! I forgot LSU's ranking, and I didn't put it in my notes. Damn it! I think they're 19th. Whatever. We have LSU versus South Carolina. LSU is coming to this game, and I feel like LSU has to win this. It's a has to. They got playing South Carolina. South Carolina has a lot of young talent. Very young. I'm so interested to see Campbell versus freshman Dylan Stewart, edge rusher from South Carolina. Dylan Stewart has been amazing. The two things to watch in this game is LSU and South Carolina's defenses and LSU and South Carolina's wide receiving cores. Those are the two things that, as a fan of college football, watch those two things in this game, because that's what's going to be the entertaining part, those matchups. We get to see freshman Dylan Stewart go up against All-American Will Campbell from LSU. That's going to be the matchup on the line. Or it's going to be Savion Jones or Harold Perkins on the LSU defense to look for. Those are the two to look for on the LSU defense. Savion Jones and Harold Perkins. But Harold Perkins, you guys, doesn't even have a sack this year. All that hype, a top 10 pick, everyone's saying top 10 pick, top 10 pick. How do you not even have a sack in your first 2 games? That's not good. As someone that knows how the potential that Harold Perkins has, we need to see better from Harold Perkins Jr. in this game against South Carolina. But the wide receivers to watch for for South Carolina is Mazeo. I can't say. I think it's Mazeo. Mazeo. Okay, that's his first name. Bennett Jr. This year he is their leading receiver. He's a freshman. South Carolina, like I said earlier, they are a very young team. So if they lose this, I won't be surprised. And as a South Carolina fan, I wouldn't be mad if you guys lose this. If you guys have a winning record or an 8-4 record this year or something better than 6-6, be happy with that because you guys have a very young team and you guys got to hope that you keep this young team and they don't go away to NIL money because I can see South Carolina being a team to talk about in the future, in the next year possibly, because they have a very young team, a very young wide receiving core, a very young defense. They're recruiting, honestly, not terribly. South Carolina could have a little squad in the next couple years if all the pieces stay and all the pieces fit in the right way. We all know how college football is. We all thought Virginia Tech was going to be something, and they went out first game and lost to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt. Yes, you heard me. Vanderbilt. They don't expect that. But with LSU, I feel like we got to talk about this. How is this LSU O-line going to hold up against the South Carolina defense that has already gotten 10 sacks in 2 games? 10 sacks, 2 games. That's insane to me. Yes, both teams, they do got running backs to look for. They do. But, like I said, I do think it's going to be a wide receiving matchup. I think that's something to look for. And the 2 quarterbacks, quarterback for LSU is Garrett Nussmer. Don't believe in him. I haven't believed in him. People are hyping him up. I don't believe the hype. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a lot of quarterbacks that are starting for these teams starting for big name teams this year that I didn't see the hype in, that a lot of people are like talking about, and I didn't see it, and he's one of them. He is one of them that I don't see the hype in, and I just really don't. South Carolina's quarterback is Speckles, as I like to call him. Lenoris Sellers, he wears glasses, and it's actually amazing, honestly. I think he is a difference maker. So watch out for that South Carolina game. And watch for South Carolina to pull off an upset here. Because this is an upset watch. I got to say that South Carolina can pull off this upset. And I'm looking forward to it. To seeing this game. Next game we got is another top 25 matchup. And yes, you've seen that right. Boston College is a top 25 team. You're wondering how they got to the top 25? Well, they beat good old 0-2 or 0-1 at the time, Florida State. Boston College, they're comparing their quarterback to Mahomes, to Murray, to Kyler Murray. We're comparing this quarterback, Thomas Castellanos from Boston College. They're comparing him, all this stuff. And I'm not going to lie to you, I have not seen a Boston College game this year. I have not watched one. I really haven't. I can't talk much about Boston College, but I can talk to you guys about what I've heard and the hype I've heard. I haven't seen them play, but I am going to watch this game. I can tell you guys I'm going to watch this game this weekend, and Monday you're going to get a full report from me about Boston College, what they are, who they are, how they play against a SEC team, a big team, a top 10 team. If BC wins this, how far will BC move up their thing? Will BC be the favorite to win the ACC if they beat Missouri? No one predicted BC to do this because no one predicted BC to beat Florida State. So it can happen, but they have a lot to stop. They had to stop Brady Cook, who is throwing 71.2% this year, 446 yards, and 1 touchdown and an interception, but he has 3 rushing touchdowns. So he's dynamic. We all know Brady Cook. We all remember from last year, him and Luther Burden are going to be crazy. But there's been a new player that no one's really been talking about for this Missouri offense that has stepped up, and it is Nate Noel, the running back, who has 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and is averaging 5.3 carries per yard. He's someone to watch. He's explosive. And it's something to, look, this whole Missouri offense is explosive. We know that. We know that is explosive. And the matchup to watch on offense for receiver and DB is between Missouri Marvin Banks, who has 7 tackles, an interception, and 1 pass deflection. He'll match up is against BC wide receiver Lewis Bond, who has 6 receptions, 105 yards, and 1 TD. That's another matchup to look for them. That's the matchup. That's the key matchup on Boston College offense. Isaiah Bond going up against Missouri's best DB Marvin Banks. Those are the two. That's the matchup I would watch for the BC offense versus the Missouri defense. Now the matchup to watch for when Missouri's on the field, offense is on the field, is BC's DBs, Davis and Johnson. They'll be going up against Burden and Weiss. Those are good matchups. I can't wait to see how these teams attack each other. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, if BC has a little bit more depth in wide receiver, these teams have a lot of the same characteristics. They both have dual quarterbacks that can either kill you with their arm or kill you with their legs. They both have good wide receivers. I mean, Luther Burden is a top 5 wide receiver in college football. Isaiah Bond has got to be at least top 15, top 20. He's going to show you guys because when he was at Texas, there was a lot of hype in him. So I can't wait to see how these two teams play. I'm hoping that Boston College doesn't get murked by him, but I know that is a very high possibility because Missouri is Missouri. But I have a lot of faith in Thomas Castellanos, who's throwing 73%. He has 340 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he has 81 rushing yards. So that's something to look for. And we also I can't forget to tell you guys to look for Boston College running backs. But this is going to be an offensive game. If I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, they like this. If you are better, go with the over on this because I feel like this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Both of these offenses are very high-powered and can score points. So that's where you got to say, okay, let's see how these defenses can handle these two high explosive offenses. That is something to watch for. That's the main things to watch for in this game. Make sure to tune into this. It's on the SEC network too. That's the sad part. It's on the damn SEC network. Like they put a top 25 game on the damn SEC network. I mean, you can get it on YouTube on SEC. You can get it on all that stuff. But I mean, it's still like, come on. Then we got Isn't this rivalry called the Civil War? Or they don't call it that no more or something. Something like that. But we got number 9, Oregon versus Oregon State. And this is an upset watch. Can Oregon finally lose? I'm hoping. Because Oregon is not showing that they are a top 10 team. They were predicted. People are saying, oh, I was even one of them. I got to call myself out right here. I was one of them that said, oh, Oregon is going to be a top team this year. But from what I'm seeing, oh no, Dylan Gabriel, if I keep hearing the hype on Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to lose it. Because yes, he's throwing 83%. But let's see how high percentage those passes are. How high percentage are those passes? Because they're all checkdowns or slant routes or drag routes. They're all 10-yard routes. He's not throwing deep. If I'm Oregon State, I'm pressuring them. Make them beat you deep. They haven't shown no one this year that they can be explosive. They're not showing nothing. They are one of the biggest disappointments. I don't care if they're 2-0. Oregon, you are a disappointment this year. You have not shown up to the hype that everyone's had you. Dylan Gabriel, you were one of the most overhyped quarterbacks. You fall into this, in my opinion, I don't care if he's winning. I don't care. He falls into the same category as DJ Uiagalelei and Riley Leonard. They're not good. Yes, they can put up good, decent numbers for you. And yes, Gabriel's leading to a 2-0 thing. But what big plays has Gabriel done? What big plays has Riley Leonard done? What big plays has DJ done? Those three were the top 5 for transfer quarterbacks, right? But what have they done for their teams? What? Nothing. Yes, Riley Leonard beat Texas A&M. Then he lost to Northern Illinois. Like, this ain't Duke, buddy. Then we got Dylan Gabriel. This ain't UCF. Yes, you played at Oklahoma, but that was when you were a freshman and no one had tape on you. And then you went to UCF. Okay, you performed there. Yo, Mari, do you believe the hype in Dylan Gabriel? Do you believe the hype in Dylan Gabriel? Because I don't. I don't see why we're hyping Dylan Gabriel up. He's a mediocre quarterback that only makes check down passes. His longest pass has been 30 or something yards this year. Like, what? How is that your longest pass when you have one of the most explosive offenses in college football? Your longest pass has been 30 yards or something? That's embarrassing. How is that your longest pass? I think that Oregon State isn't the best team in the world. Yes, they're not. But they can do something that will mess college football up for a week. If they beat Oregon, down goes Oregon. Favorite to win the college football national championship goes down. The first one of the year, because I'm sorry, I'm not considering Notre Dame. I am a Notre Dame fan, but as Notre Dame fans, we knew damn well we weren't winning the championship this year because we had to go up against Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon. We knew this. And if you were like, Oregon's the first top legitimate team that was a betting favorite in Las Vegas to win the national title, I think they're going to be the first ones to lose between Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, Ole Miss, all the top 10 at the beginning of the year, or the top teams that we all knew going into this year. They're going to be the first ones to lose. Oh, yeah. I think they are going to be the first ones to lose this year. That it's a big, yes, Notre Dame loss. I know that. But I'm saying for national contenders, Oregon's going to lose. I think Oregon State is going to do it. The Ducks ranked 89th in opponent scoring. They're allowing 24 points per game. Do you guys understand that Oregon has played? Let me tell you guys who Oregon's played. Then you guys are going to look at this totally different, okay? They have played Idaho and won 24-14, and then they played Boise State and should have lost that game and won it 37-34. So, I don't know about you guys, but I do think that Oregon needs to wake up. Their offense needs to wake up totally, and if it doesn't, I feel like Oregon State is going to win this, but I think it's going to be another close game. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's either going to be Oregon's going to get a magical touchdown or a game-winning field goal, just like they have in these last two games, or Oregon State's going to put their foot down and actually win this game. So that's something to look for. I think Oregon is on upset watch again this week. So something to look for in this game. Yes, the last couple of years, Oregon has had their way, but I think that Oregon State has two running backs that are going to make a difference, which is Jam Griffin, who has 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, and averaging 6.6 per carry. And then they got Anthony Hankerson, who has 40 carries, 226 yards, 5.7 average, and 3 touchdowns. So that is something to look for right there. That is the difference makers between those two. And then we have our other, used to be big rivalry week matchup. We have the Apple Cup, which is Washington State versus Washington. Now, this game, it is a great game. It's going to be a great game. I think that Washington State is going to give a better game than most people are predicting. The spread is 4.5 by Washington. I don't think that Washington State, I want to know more about their running game. From what I've been doing my research on Washington State, I want to know more about their running game. What can their running game do, except for their quarterback, who has been amazing? I've got to put the quarterback's names. I put everything else but the quarterback's names. You gotta be kidding me. Great. Their quarterback for Washington State, he has been amazing. He has 252 yards on the ground, and he has 467 in the air. 6 touchdowns in the air, and he has 2 rushing. So that means he has 8 total rushing touchdowns, and he has over 700 total yards this season. So Washington State has their guy at quarterback. Now, can he perform in a big game? Well, they just beat Texas Tech. That's a big win right there. Yes, Texas Tech, I said earlier that I thought they would be much better, but they're not. They're disappointing, and I think they're going to have a disappointing year. But I think that the players to watch for in this game is Washington running back Jonah Coleman, who has 27 carries, 231 yards, and 3 touchdowns, who has... It's been amazing. He's been a solid back for Washington. He's from Illinois, I think it was. It was Illinois. I'm not gonna say where he's from because it's not on the top of my mind, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But he is the person to watch for on that Washington offense, except for Will Howard, the quarterback. Or Will Rogers, my bad, not Will Howard. Will Howard plays for Ohio State. Then you got, for Washington State, the player to watch for is their wide receiver, Kyle Jones. Jones. Where the hell did Jones come from? That wasn't even in my mind. Kyle Williams, who has 5 receptions, 161 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And he had I apologize. I meant to say for Jonah Coleman, I want to see how he bounces back versus Washington State, because when he played Texas Tech, he had 1 carry, 21 yards, and he had a touchdown. So I want to see how he does there, how he bounces back now. Can he bounce back and have another crazy game? Let's see. But Washington State's defense has had 2 sacks, but they made up for it in their secondary because they have 3 interceptions. So Washington State has a decent secondary. But the thing that's interesting me the most is this Washington D-line. They already have 8 sacks this year. They don't have no interceptions. So they can get to the quarterback. But my question is, can they get to Washington State's quarterback? I'm not going to say Washington State's quarterback because I forgot his name, and I apologize. Can they get to him? He is running. He is a runner. He can run. The way Washington got here, they beat Weber State and Eastern Michigan. The way Washington State got here is beating Portland State and then beating Texas Tech. So if we go by wins, Washington State has a better win, which is Texas Tech. But this game, it is a rivalry game. It can go either way. I can't tell you who's going to win. I can't tell you predict who's going to win, bada. But I can tell you that it's going to be a great game. It's the Apple Cup. We all know that Oregon State, and then Washington State are always great matchups to watch. The atmosphere is going to be insane. Must-watch TV, so you guys got to tune into the Apple Cup and the Oregon game. Then we have Pitt versus West Virginia versus Pitt. West Virginia bounced back nicely after that Penn State loss, that 34-12 loss to Penn State. They bounced back nicely with a win over Albany, 49-14. So great win right there. The thing for West Virginia, the question I have for West Virginia is, can they stop Pittsburgh running back Desmond Reed? You guys, that may sound familiar to KBM fans. I did an interview with Desmond Reed when he was at Western Carolina, and he's performed. He has performed. He has been doing his thing at Pittsburgh. He is showing that it doesn't matter the division he plays in or the conference or the league. He is a baller, and he's got the dog in him. The player to look for West Virginia is Garrett Green, who's throwing 62.7%, 3 touchdowns, and he has no interceptions. Can Pittsburgh get an interception? This is the best defense, though, that Pitt has faced, so it's interesting to see there. Can Garrett Green be the difference maker? Can he step up again and win another game? Can he make West Virginia 2-1? Because West Virginia is 1-1 going into this game. Pittsburgh is 2-0, so that is interesting. Can Pittsburgh stay undefeated, or will West Virginia make them the same record as them with a 2-1 record? Now, let me go all the way back, because now we're at the end of the show, so I have to give you guys my predictions. Okay, one minute. Let me go back to my page so I can check my stuff off, so I can mark it for you guys, so you guys know who I pick, and I can tell you guys in the future. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. We have 14 games to pick, just like last week. And we start with Arizona State versus Texas State. I got Arizona State. Then we have UNLV versus Kansas. Honestly, you guys, I think Kansas is going to bounce back nicely this week. I got Kansas winning this one, beating UNLV, but I think it's going to be much closer. Then we have Arizona versus Kansas State. And I'm going with Arizona here. I got Arizona pulling off this victory. I think that, yes, I believe in Kansas State. I think they have a great team, but I think that Arizona, Noah Fafita and T-Mac are going to get on the same page this game and just be deadly again like they normally are. And I don't think that Kansas State will have an answer for that dynamic duo between Fafita and T-Mac. I don't think they will have an answer for that. So that's why I think that Arizona will win this game and go into Kansas City and win this. Or Manhattan, Kansas. Yes, Manhattan. Not Manhattan, New York. Manhattan, Kansas. That's where Kansas State is located. And then we go to Bama, Wisconsin. I already told you guys I think Bama is going to dominate Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin stands a chance. But I could be totally wrong. And Monday we could come back to this. And I could be looking at you guys calling myself a complete fool for saying this to you guys. But I will stand on business and say that Bama will win. And then we have LSU, South Carolina. Who am I going with, you guys? I'm going with South Carolina. I got South Carolina pulling off the upset here. I think Lanera Sellers is going to make a difference. I think that Dylan Stewart, the freshman edge rusher, is going to make a difference. Unless Campbell stops him. But I think that this South Carolina is just a much more fast-paced moving team. I really do like this South Carolina team. And I think that they will beat LSU. And yeah, LSU will be 1-2 after this week. In my prediction, I think South Carolina pulls off this major upset. And I don't know if South Carolina's ever beaten LSU in football. I don't know. That'd be a cool fact, and I will let you guys know that Monday. If LSU, let me write that. If LSU beat SC in football. I know I wrote it backwards, but I'll rewrite it. Oh, flip it. You're yelling down there, and I can hear you. Loud noises. Memphis, Florida State. I got Florida State because I just don't want to see, I don't want to see Florida State go 0-3. But they could do the funniest thing, Memphis, but I think Florida State will beat them. Yes, Memphis does have a great running back who used to be South Carolina's running back and who also used to be, I looked it up today. Is it Middlebury? I think it's Middlebury College. It's a Division 2 or 3. Mario Anderson. You guys are probably like, how do you know he went to a D2 or D3? Because I found him 2 years ago. I was doing research on D2, and there was this star running back from Midbury, I think it's Middlebury, or Midbury or something. And he was running back, and I was watching his tape, he was doing disgusting. He transferred to South Carolina. Didn't get, he got good playing time. Then something happened. Now he's at Memphis. And he's been doing great numbers for Memphis. I believe I have notes what he has. He has I do. I don't have his stats. I apologize. I thought I had his stats, but I don't. But just look for Mario Anderson in that Memphis game, and I forgot to switch it. Oh. Well, yeah. So, you guys already know who I got in that Memphis game. So, right now we got Boston College, Missouri. And this one's a hard one because, like I said, I feel like both these teams have good characteristics. But I'm going to pick Missouri. I'm going to go with Missouri here. I just think they have more depth. I think they have more depth and have been in a spot like this before. Where last year they had these games where it was games where you're going up against a team that wasn't expected to be this good, but now they're ranked. And Missouri had their fair share of those games last year, and they got the experience, built the experience up from last year. And I think this year they're here to show everybody, Brady Cook and Luther Burden, that they are ready to put Missouri into the college football playoff because this would be a huge win for either of these teams for the college football playoff. But I got Missouri winning this one. Next, we got Oregon State, and I got another upset here. This is my last upset of the week. Or this is one of my other upsets. I think I have 2, I believe. 2 or 3. I can't let you guys know that. But you know that I have 2 right now. I think Oregon State is going to beat Oregon. I don't believe in Oregon. But I could be completely wrong, and Oregon could show up finally. I mean, if Oregon shows up finally, if they do, then they got this. I'm going to say that. I know I didn't say that if they show up, if they're the Oregon that we all predicted them to be, they'll beat them by 50. But if it's the same Oregon we saw week 1, week 2, and they have no progression because they didn't progress, because that we all know week 1 to week 2, that jump between teams is insane. We haven't seen that from Oregon yet, but is this the week that Oregon progresses and shows why we hyped them up so much? I don't think so. I got Oregon State pulling off this major upset. Now we go to our next game, which is Washington State. Washington is the favorite going in this by 4.5, and honestly, I like Washington State's quarterback. I really do. I think that Washington is a great team. Don't get me wrong. I think Washington is a great team. But I think Washington State is going to go into Washington and pull off the upset. The Pac-12 is going to stay undefeated. Oh, the Pac-2 is going to stay undefeated this week. Yup, that's major right there. I know that's crazy. But the Pac-2 is going to beat Oregon and Washington. The little brothers of Oregon and Washington are going to win this week. Then we have, what's our next game? We got Pitt, West Virginia. I got Pitt winning this just because my boy Desmond Reed. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm biased. I got to say I'm biased. And this is one of the ones that I'm biased on. I want my boy Desmond Reed to win every single game that he plays in because he supported KBM and I support him. So make sure you guys also show love to Desmond Reed too, though. Great guy. But yeah, I got Pitt winning this. Please win this, Pitt. Next game, we got... we got Dion. We got Dion and his boys. Colorado State, Colorado. But sadly, I hate saying this. I won't ever admit that I would go for Colorado. So I will always choose against Colorado. So I got Colorado State, even though I think Colorado is going to win this. I don't care. People say don't go with your heart. I'm going with my heart, and my heart's telling me screw Colorado. And okay, we're going to be completely honest. I don't like Colorado. I got Colorado State winning this. Only person I like in Colorado is Travis Hunter. Shout out Travis Hunter. You are a great player and entertaining to watch. And you make funny ads on TikTok. If you haven't seen Travis Hunter's ad for Claritin or his first aid kit from Amazon, you should. No free shout outs. You gotta pay me, Amazon. But yeah, you gotta see those on TikTok because they are hilarious. But I got Colorado State winning this just because out of spite for Colorado and because it's screw you, Colorado. Next, we got UCF, TCU, and wow, it's the battle of what ifs. We have the national champions of 2018, I think it was, that they claimed themselves, and then we have 65-7 TCU. Who do I think will win this? I gotta give it to... I'm giving it to UCF just because they have KJ Jefferson, they have the experience, and I don't really know much about TCU like that. And I just got UCF. Next game, we got Florida, Texas A&M, and I honestly got to say that who is Florida starting? I don't know who Florida's starting yet. I don't, so this is one that I'm making this prediction with hoping that Lagway is the starter. If Lagway, so this is my thing right now. You guys see it too. If Lagway is the starter, I got Florida winning this. If Graham Mertz is the starter, I got Texas A&M winning by 3 touchdowns. That's my thing, right? That's my prediction. I don't know who's starting yet. They haven't. I don't believe they announced it. And if they announced it, let me know in the comments of the live after or in the chat right now if Graham Mertz has been announced a starter or if it's Lagway. If it's Lagway, I got Florida winning. So that's my prediction. I don't know what to write down in my book because I don't know who's who. All matters who's starting for Florida. That's right there. It matters who starts for Florida. If it's Lagway, I think this Florida's offense is gonna move beautifully with Lagway. So that's something to look for right there. I don't know who's who. I don't know who's starting yet, so I can't give you that prediction. But just know that either if it's Lagway, you better tune into this game because you're gonna watch a freshman that is gonna be a future college football star. Lagway, and he's going to lead Florida back into being Florida, hopefully in the future, because he has his teammates that they were hyped about. But it's also Florida, so they'll probably start Mertz again just because they're paying Mertz probably so much NIL money that's not even funny. Then we have Tulane, Oklahoma. Tulane almost put off the upset last week against Kansas State. Can they get it against Oklahoma, who Oklahoma struggled with last week was against Houston. They beat Houston 16-12. Yes, you heard me, 16-12. I have never heard that kind of score in my life either, but Oklahoma did it. They somehow won the game 16-12. Can Tulane pull off this upset? If I'm going to be completely honest, I really want them to. I do, but I think after what happened last week, the way that they lost to Kansas State, I don't see their morale being up high enough to beat Oklahoma. I don't. I think that last week was a devastating loss, and that's a hard game to bounce back with, and you play another top 25 team. You have Kansas State, and then you have Oklahoma back-to-back weeks. That's just bad luck. I think if they beat Kansas State last week, I feel like this game would be better, or they could be hungry. But I just got Oklahoma winning this. I think that Oklahoma is the better team in this. I do. I think Tulane does have the better heart and all that stuff. But I think after last week, what happened last week, how they lost, I think that's what the reason will be for them losing this week. And that is the show, you guys. I will be back live one day this week. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Join the KBM Sports Talk family. I thank you guys all who have tuned in and watched. I will be back live. The next college football show will be Monday. Maybe Monday night or maybe Monday morning. I don't know which one yet. It matters if I'm working or not. It's either or. It'll be Monday night or Monday morning. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Join the KBM Sports Talk family. And I will see you guys in a couple of days.